No one can take sanctuary. Arise!
This is our home.
The eternal war between light and darkness has lasted for eons, a never-ending cycle of violence and destruction. The heavens and hells have sunk into weariness, where honor and glory pale before the constant roar. Amidst the devastation, two weary souls dared to dream of a different path. The archangel Serial and the demon Agrat. Disgusted by the meaningless line between good and evil, crossed all barriers to find common ground. Together, they committed the ultimate act of rebellion, stealing the legendary Worldstone and using its immense power to create sanctuary, a hidden world, a refuge from the war they had abandoned. To inhabit that world, they shed their divine forms, living as mortals, in the hope that they had found a third path to their destiny. This event has profound significance and can be directly related to biblical teachings. The battle between angels and demons reflects the concept of spiritual warfare mentioned in Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against evil spirits in the heavenly places. Source: Bible. The forbidden love between Serial and Agrat is a powerful metaphor for man's search for a solution to the chaos of the world without following the Creator's plan. They create their own sanctuary, an image of a utopian world. Just as man tries to build a paradise on earth with his own strength, instead of seeking it in the kingdom of God, in the sanctuary, they give birth to their first children, the Nephalem. The Nephalem, endowed with the potential of both angels and demons, are a reflection of ourselves. In the Bible, humans are created in the image of God. Genesis 1:27. But also suffer the consequences of sin. Romans 5:12. We are creatures of both divine light and fallen darkness. The power of the Nephilim is the limitless potential of humans, our capacity for both the greatest things and the most heinous sins. For Agrat, these children are hope, living proof that harmony can exist. But for Serial, they are threats, a reminder of the chaos he tried to escape. His fear mirrors our own fear of our dual nature, a fear that leads to distrust and, ultimately, heartbreaking betrayal. This story is a profound warning that when people refuse to face the truth about their own nature, they unwittingly sow the seeds of their own downfall. Peace is but a thin veil. Serial's fear of the Nephilim has grown, corroding his sanity and leading to a brutal betrayal. He believes that his children must be restrained, weakened, to protect the secrets of sanctuary. His intentions can be seen as a failure of leadership as he decides to control and determine the fate of those he is supposed to protect. It is a tragic reflection of the story of the fall of Eden, where a loss of faith in the Creator leads to a wrong choice, causing separation and suffering. Agrat's actions in slaughtering the intruders to protect her family are an expression of love, twisted, where the most sacred of feelings becomes the driving force for brutality. Her return to her demonic form shows that her old nature is never completely gone, but is always waiting to explode. Especially when pushed to the limit, the tragedy culminated when Serial, horrified by Agrat's actions, made a cruel and irreversible decision. He used the Worldstone, which had helped them create this world, to banish Agrat into an empty dimension. This act was not only a punishment, but also a repetition of the very separation they had tried to escape. Agrat's banishment from sanctuary was reminiscent of Adam and Eve's banishment from the Garden of Eden, where one wrong move led to their eternal separation from home and peace. Serial had become the sewer of the separation he had once hated. Now he was left alone with the burden of guilt, and their actions had not gone unnoticed by the realms of eternity. The consequences of this betrayal were felt. The power of the Worldstone, now shaken, sent shockwaves that awakened both heaven and hell from the darkness of hell. The demon lords Belial and Moloch smelled opportunity. Belial, with his cunning, saw a new chessboard to play on, a chance to reshape every realm. Moloch, bloodthirsty and brutal, saw only a weak world to crush. Both wanted to seize the Worldstone to strengthen their power. At the same time, in heaven, the archangels also sensed the chaos. They were divided as hope and destruction collided. Kamael wanted to destroy humanity, seeing them as an insult and a stain. Meanwhile, Zadku, with his calm and firmness, sensed the light and miracle within them, seeing them as hope. After thousands of years of peace, humanity, descendants of the Nephalem, lived in ignorance of their divine origins. They built villages and cities, unaware that sanctuary, their home, was but a fragile dream, protected by a veil of mystery. They lived in ignorance of the wars and betrayals that had created them. But then, darkness came. Like an apocalyptic prophecy, the gates of hell were flung open, and the demons of Belial and Moloch poured in, bringing fire and destruction. The peace of sanctuary was torn apart, and the dreams of Serial and Agrat now faced the nightmare of invasion. This moment can be related to many stories of spiritual awakening in the Bible. Humanity, living in its ignorance, was unaware of its true nature and potential. In the face of devastation, they are forced to seek the strength to fight back, But they do not know that the strength has always existed in their blood. This is a metaphor for the spiritual awakening of humans. When faced with challenges, they realize that the strength to overcome does not come from outside, but from within. In this scene, we see Liora and Tehran, two ordinary mortals, facing an unbelievable brutality. Liora calls everyone to fight and protect her family, showing courage and leadership. Meanwhile, Tehran, in a moment of danger, accidentally releases a burst of energy from his forgotten Nephalem power, a sign that humanity's true potential is about to explode. At the same time, from deep within the earth, Agrat has returned. She is no longer the gentle mother, but a storm of vengeance, full of hatred and power. She seeks to awaken the Nephalem blood in her descendants, using them as weapons against both hell and heaven. While her actions may be seen as an attempt at salvation, they are fueled by pain and rage, one that could lead to destruction. Agrat, in her hideous form, sends power through the Worldstone, and it is felt by Liora and Tehran, who begin to feel the Nephalem fire burning within. This scene shows a harsh truth. Even the noblest intentions can be corrupted by negative emotions. Sanctuary stands on the brink of destruction. The demons of Belial and Moloch have laid waste to everything in their path. Agrat leads her children, the awakened Nephalem, against the enemy, but her rage threatens to consume the very dream she once created. Sariel, now weak and torn by regret, returns to face the consequences of her past choices. In a final battle, Sariel and Agrat are forced to join forces. In a moment of desperation, they realize that they must fight together once again to right their wrongs. This battle can be seen as a metaphor for the final battle of the human soul. Sariel and Agrat represent our inner conflict between reason and emotion, between forgiveness and hatred. They faced a common enemy, but their greatest enemy was the conflict within themselves. However, salvation came from an unexpected source. As Sariel and Agrat were overwhelmed, a mortal rose up. Liora, her eyes burning with determination, unleashed her Nephalem powers, driving both the demon and Agrat back. This act was a powerful testament to the power of humanity. She had done what even her creators could not, proving that the future does not belong to those who created it, but to those willing to fight to protect it. The rise of Liora, along with the others, is a story of redemption, not from a god above, but from within humanity itself. It reminds us of the power and potential of each individual when they overcome their fears and accept their true nature. Liora has embraced both the light and the dark within her, and it is that harmony that makes her a true warrior. The story of Sanctuary is not just a myth about angels and demons. It is our story. It is about being tired of pointless wars, about having the courage to dream of something different. It is about fear, betrayal, and the consequences of past choices. But above all, it is a story about hope. Hope that comes not from divine powers, but from one mortal standing up and saying, "This is our home. No one has the right to take it from us." We, like the Nephalem, carry within us the potential power of both light and dark. We can create heavens or hells. Our future is not determined by our ancestors, but by our own choices. So, look to your own nature. Accept that power, both light and dark, and use it to build, not to destroy. Become the Nephalem, not in body, but in spirit. Rise up and fight to protect our world.